If you see Z in your time domain representations, it is wrong. If you see N in your frequency domain representations, it is again wrong, okay? Z is a frequency domain variable, N is a time domain variable. Similarly, omega or j omega is in frequency domain, T is in time domain, okay? So I want you to be careful about this. So for x of n being 1 over 2 to the power n un, this was the Z transform. And for 2 to the power n, this was the Z transform, okay? Can you tell me what would the ROC of this sequence? Is this right-sided or left-sided sequence? Is the first part right-sided, left-sided sequence arkadaşlar?
Right-sided.
Right.
First part is right-sided, so I'm gonna write right here. How about this one? The second part of xn, is it right-sided or left-sided?
Left.
Left.
Left-sided, right? So how can I write what? How can I write the Z ROC of this? Z is gonna be greater than 1 over 2 for the right-sided part. And it's gonna be less than 2 for the left-sided part. Right, arkadaşlar? So for this one, Z should be less than 2. Here, Z should be greater than 1 over 2. If you remember our previous discussions, that was the case. So for the ROC, x of Z is something like that. Did everyone understand this part, arkadaşlar? We have been discussing these kind of things for the last 3 hours, 4 hours, so that's why I want to be a little bit fast in that case. I hope you got the point. How about Y of Z? What is Y of Z, arkadaşlar? It is easy, right? So the first part is 6 over 1 minus 1 over 2 Z to the power minus 1 minus 6 over 1 minus 3 over 2, 3 over 4 Z to the power minus 1. Now I want you to write using direct message or private message what h of Z is. I have given you Y of Z and X of Z, and if you remember, H of Z was Y of Z divided by X of Z. That means Z transform of the output divided by the Z transform of the input. It's a kind of transfer function, if you remember. Okay, now calculate a little bit more on X of Z and Y of Z and find H of Z in 3 minutes. So X of Z is this, right? This divided by this and that. Y of Z is this divided by this and that. Now I'm going to write Y of Z first. Minus 3 over 2 Z to the power minus 1 divided by 1 minus 1 over 2 Z to the power minus 1 times 1 minus 3 over 4 Z to the power minus 1 times the reverse of X of Z, right? The reverse of X of Z. So I'm going to write 1 minus 1 over 2 Z to the power minus 1, 1 minus 2 Z to the power minus 1, divided by minus 3 over 2 Z to the power minus 1. So what do we see here? This is going to be going, this is going to be going, and I will be left with 1 minus 2 Z to the power minus 1 divided by 1 minus 3 over 4 Z to the power minus 1. Is that part clear arkadaşlar? Yes?
Yes hocam.
Yes hocam.
Yes. Now, yes, Nuri, thank you very much. Correct. Mustafa Baha, you wrote in a different format. Maybe I cannot read it. But I think you found something like that, right? Arkadaşlar, is that part clear? Is this whole calculation part clear for all of us? Arkadaşlar,
Yes hocam.
yes, okay. So now what is our next goal? I want you to find out the poles and zeros, right? How do I find the poles? By equating this to 0, right? For zeros, equating to zeros is going to give me the zeros. Can you tell me what zeros are? How do I continue? I multiply both sides by z. Z minus 2 divided by z minus 3 over 4. So it is a lot easy here. Z equals 2 will give me my 0. And z equals 3 over 4 will give my pole. Is this part clear?
Yes hocam.
Yes. Now I'm gonna go and write my, put my pole here first. Bakın nasıl yapıyorum. Pole. I'm gonna put like a cross mark at 3 over 4 and at 0 here at 2. Okay, this is going to be my real part of z, and this is going to be the imaginary part of z. And then what is my ROC? What is my ROC going to be like? So Süleyman says, hocam, can we use y of n, h of n, and x of n go to direct to find h of z? I don't think you can find it that way, Süleyman. Like, this is the way we should usually follow. I should check by calculation, but it's not the way we do. Because now what I'm doing is I found h of z like this. I can easily do everything like quite smoothly. Okay, you can see now how smoothly we will continue from now on. Arkadaşlar, what was the question? I had a causal system. What does causal system mean? Causal system, causal, it should be right-sided all the time, right? Right-sided. Causal means I should have my ROC to the right-sided part. Why did I put all these radiations of sun? Because it's a right-sided sequence. Because for causality, it should be right-sided. Okay. Causality. What does causality mean, arkadaşlar? H of n should be 0 for n less than 0. Right. This was the condition for H of n for causality. That means if I have this kind of an H of n and 0 before 0, then this is a causal system. But if I have anything here, then non-causal system. Okay. If I have anything on the left side, then it will break the rule for causality. So when you see a causal system, you will directly understand that it should be right-sided and the sun should go to the right side, to the outside. Okay. Another condition is that our poles should be inside the unit circle. Okay. So these are important important conditions for you, arkadaşlar. Okay, do you follow me? Let me check here. There are a couple of rules that I want you to realize. Poles should be inside the unit circle. This is a causality rule. Okay, poles should be inside the unit circle. If you have such a thing and this is your pole, and if it is a 2, that means it is not, this is not a causal system. Okay, all poles should be inside the unit circle. Okay, this is one unit circle is this, and poles should be inside the unit circle. Is that part clear arkadaşlar? For causality, all poles should be inside the unit circle, and if our thing is causal, then it will be right-sided sequence, and I will draw outside. Okay. For stability, arkadaşlar, for stable systems, for stability, what is my rule? The ROC should include the unit circle. That means if I'm plotting such an ROC, okay, let's say this is 1/2, and I am plotting this side like that, and it will include 1, the unit circle, then this is a stable system. Or I might have such a thing. And I'm plotting inside, and the unit circle is in between, then this is also stable. Okay, let's say this is 1, this is 1, this is 2, this is 1/2, this is 1/2, and the unit circle is inside the ROC. Unit circle is inside the shaded area, which means ROC, then the system is stable. Arkadaşlar burası anlaşıldı mı acaba? Did everyone understand what's going on? Because your questions will be like, what is this system stable? Like this one. Is this system stable? Or I may give you in the question, this system is causal, this system is stable, something like that, okay? So you should be knowing that if a system is causal, all the poles should be inside the unit circle, okay? And for the stability, unit circle should be included in our region of convergence. For example, arkadaşlar, for this input signal, if this is not the input signal, but if this was X of n was our impulse response, you know, for the stability or causality, I only check H of n arkadaşlar. Burası önemli. H of n should be checked for causality or stability. I don't check X of n or Y of n. Let me write it over here once more for completeness. For stability and causality, we should check H of z, or in Fourier transform, H e to the j omega, or H j omega, and H of n, not X of n or Y of n. Okay? Because we are checking the stability or causality of the system, not the input and the output. You understand what I'm saying, arkadaşlar? For the system causality and stability, I should check H of n's, H of n related stuff, not X of n or Y of n. Is this clear, arkadaşlar? Yes.
Hocam, may I ask
Sure.
question? Hocam, for the unit circle, we are checking the unit circle. Why unit circle is the important restriction for us for causality or stability? Like,
okay. For example, if I have the unit circle, and if my pole is here, 1/2, okay, and I'm drawing the sun radiation like that, and it includes unit circle. What is my h of n? 1 over 2 to the power n un, right? Because this tells me that there's a pole here. It means 1 minus, and there should be 1 0 here. It is 1 minus 1 over 2 z to the power minus 1. When I look at this ROC, I should be ready to find this out. Okay? It is something like that with some maybe multiplication. When you see a pole, it should be down here. When you see a 0, when you see this, you can immediately write z divided by z minus 1 over 2, right? When you see z is 0, here, pole, here. So when you divide everything by z, okay, then you will have 1 over 1 minus 1 over 2 z to the power minus 1. So this means my sequence is right-sided, and h of n is 1 over 2 to the power. Is this a stable thing? N is 1, n is 0, it is 1. N is 1, it is 1 over 2. N is 2, it is 1 over 4. N is 3, it is 1 over 8, and so on. Is this a stable system? What was the condition for stability? The summation should be less than infinity, right? Hatırlıyor muyuz arkadaşlar? Stability condition.
Yes, hocam, it should be boundary. It should have boundaries, right?
Yes, it is called absolutely summable. Our Hn should be absolutely summable. So is this an absolutely summable sequence? Yes, it is, right? It will converge to 2. If you write 1 over 2 from n 0 to infinity, you will find out this 1 minus 1 over 2 is equal to 2. So it converges to 2. So it is stable. Okay? So if you have a pole here outside 1, let's say 2. Okay? Then for stability, if my ROC doesn't include the unit circle, what happens? What is my sequence then? H of n is equal to 2 to the power n un, right? Something like that, right-sided. Then z, if z is greater than 2, and if this is my H of n, then it is not stable because it's like 1, 1, 2, 4, 8, and so on. So it's not stable. It doesn't converge to a value. So if the pole is outside the unit circle, and if the unit circle, bakın bir de tersini düşünelim şimdi. If I have it here, my pole is at 2, but it includes the unit circle, let's say. This is my unit circle. This is my sequence, the ROC. It means it is left-sided. Then it might be 2 to the power n u minus n minus 1. So it should be left-sided sequence because I shaded inside. Inside, left-sided. Outside, right-sided. Okay? If I'm shading inside, is this now stable? Yes, it is. If you draw it, it will be like 1 over 2, 1 over 4, 1 over 8, 1 over 6, right? 2 to the power minus 1, 2 to the power minus 2, 2 to the power minus 3, and so on. So is this stable? Yes, because it is converging to a value. So this is absolutely summable. Which means if this is my H of n, then I can say that H of n or my system is stable because it includes the unit circle. For example, if I have such a situation, my pole is at 1 over 2, and only I'm shading inside. And I'm not shading the unit circle. The unit circle is not included. What does it mean? My pole is at 1 over 2 to the power n, but this time, because I'm going inside, it should be u minus n minus 1, because this says it's a left-sided sequence. What is my sequence then? It is 2, 4, 8, 16, right? This is 1 over 2 to the power minus 1, 1 over 2 to the power minus 2, 1 over 2 to the power minus 3, and so on. So is this stable? No, it is not. It is not summable. Not absolutely summable, right? So if I don't include the unit circle, it should, it is not a stable system, okay? Not stable if I don't include the unit circle. If I include the unit circle, even if it is a left-sided sequence, it is still a stable system, okay? Burası anlaşıldı mı acaba arkadaşlar?
Hocam, can you say again the last thing you said?
If unit circle is included in the ROC, it means even if it is left-sided or right-sided, it will, the sequence, the h of n, will converge to 0, converge to a finite value. The summation of h of n, the summation, absolute summation of h of n. Okay, so as I said here, 1 over 2 to the power n, u minus n minus 1. The pole is here, but I have it, I have u minus 1 minus n minus 1. It means it's increasing all the time. Okay, drawing inside, shading inside means it's a left-sided sequence. If I see the pole here, 1 over 2, it means it's like 1 over 2 to the power n. Okay, if I see a pole at 2, it's like 2 to the power n. If I'm shading inside, it's like u n minus u of minus n minus 1. If I'm shading outside, then it means I have u of n, 1 over 2 to the power n if it is shaded outside of 1 over 2. Anlaşıldı mı arkadaşlar burası acaba? I will mention this a couple of times, so let us come back to our discussion. Where was our h of n? So this was our h of z. Okay, what was our question? Pole, 0, and ROC. Now it is like that. I have done the first part. Any questions arkadaşlar? Any parts that you are not comfortable with? Now, how can I go back to h of n? So this is also critical. Let me write, what was h of z? Mustafa Baha, what was h of z? 1 minus yazıyor musunuz? Not alıyor musunuz arkadaşlar? Nasılsa OneNote'da var. Not almama gerek yok mu diyorsunuz? Nasıl yönteminiz?
Hocam, I didn't take a note, sorry.
Ama yani yazmazsanız kendiniz takip edemezsiniz diye düşünüyorum. Şimdi mesela ben diyeceğim ki bunun tersini alalım. H of z'den yola çıkarak H of n'i bulalım dediğimde size bırakacağım. Siz ne yapacaksınız o zaman? Zorlanırsınız. Yani muhakkak en azından şu andan itibaren birazcık yazarsanız iyi olur. Neymiş h of z? 1 minus arkadaşlar?
2z
Two times
minus 1.
2z minus 1,
over
1 minus
1 minus 3 over 4 z minus 1.
z to the power minus 1. Okay? Now, how should I approach to this problem and find out h of n? I do this arkadaşlar. Bakın. I
Can we
separate
write
this.
x of z over y of z?
I will tell you one easier method, Süleyman. Maybe after I finish, I will let you share your approach, okay? Bakın, how do I do it? 1 over 1 minus 3 over 4 z to the power minus 1 minus 2 z to the power minus 1 1 minus 3 over 4 z to the power minus 1. Can you follow me arkadaşlar? Do you understand how I'm going from here to there? Yes?
Yes, hocam.
So what is the h of n of this part? I know
3
it's a-
over 4 to the n un.
3 over 4 power n u of n. Why? Why, Süleyman, did you say 3 over 4 to the power n u n?
Because this structure fits to original of things to the power n un, as we
Right.
did before.
And also,
Also,
because
the
it's a right-sided sequence, causal and stable, we will say it's a right-sided, so I should say it is right-sided this part. Okay? Did
Okay,
you
hocam.
understand this part, arkadaşlar? How I go from h of z to h of n? Without doing any calculations, I immediately see that this is 3 over 4 to the power n u n. How about this one, gençler? Ahmet Özsan?
And, two times 3 over 4 over n
Hı hı.
u of n u of minus n minus 1.
Is this something that you said, or I wrote something else?
Maybe I am wrong, hocam.
Bakın arkadaşlar, how did I go from here to here? Do you remember the property that I shared with you? If there is like Dirac n minus n0, how do I find the z transform of Dirac n minus n0? Z to the power
Minus n0.
minus n0 times 1, right?
Yeah.
Because Dirac n z transform was 1. If there is a shift like this, I put it over the z, just like we have done n minus n0 for Fourier transform. It was e to the power minus omega n0 times 1, right? Similarly, I write z power n0. Again, if I have an x n minus n0, it means it is z to the power minus n0 times x of z. The z transform doesn't change. I just add kind of delay. I just add a phase shift to my stuff. If you remember the Fourier transform, in Fourier transform, it was like this, right? E to the power minus j omega n0 x e to the power j omega. Instead of e to the power j omega, I write z. Is this part clear, arkadaşlar? So what did I do here in this part? Except for this part, these two things are equal to each other. I write 3 over 4 to the power n un. Then I say, because this is z to the power minus 1, it means I have to put minus 1 here it is something like that arkadaşlar. 1 over 1 minus 3 over 4 z to the power n minus 1. The z transform is like, or inverse z transform is of this is this. If I put 2 here, I put 2 here. If I put z minus 1 here, I put minus 1. If I put minus 2 here, it will be minus 2. Do you understand what I'm doing arkadaşlar? Is that part clear?
Hocam,
Yes.
why this is not u minus n minus 1?
U minus n minus 1. Because it is a right-sided sequence, right? If you say, if you check this one, like you're asking, when I see 1 over 1 minus 3 over 4 z to the power minus 1 minus 2 z to the power minus 1 1 minus 3 over 4 z to the power minus 1. Why are we writing both of them as right-sided sequences, right? That's what you're asking, I guess. You know, I have plotted my z ROC curve as this, değil mi? And I
Yes.
said that this is a right-sided sequence. This is a right-sided system. This is a stable and causal system. For this, I came here and said, okay, this is a right-sided sequence, so it should be this. Because if this is a right-sided Z transform, it should be a right-sided sequence. Again, this part should also be right-sided because there is no left-sided kind of shading, plotting over here. Because there is only one pole. But pole is here, pole is here. This one is my pole. This one is my pole, and it is reflected over here.
We are looking, it's ROC, we can understand it is left side. Or
Yes, yes. For
Okay.
example, if I had something like that arkadaşlar, bakın güzel soru. If I had something like this. Okay, this is h of z, let's say. Bakın bu yeni bir soru. Yeni bir şey anlatmak için tekrar soruyorum şimdi. I say that this is a stable system. Okay, I give it. This is a linear time invariant system, and it's a stable system. How do you find the poles of this? The poles of this system? This is a transfer function of my system. What are the poles of this system? Arkadaşlar, Alper?
Hocam, first one 3 over 4
3 over 4 and
and 2.
2, right? 2. I'm gonna put here 2. So, I'm gonna, bakın ne yapıyorum sonra? I just plot a circle with a radius of 3 over 4 and another circle with a radius of 2. This is the real part, this is the imaginary part. So the question says it's stable. What does it mean, stable? It should include
Unit circle.
the unit circle. This is my unit circle. So for this ROC to include unit circle, how should this sequence be like? Left-sided or right-sided?
left,
Bakın,
outside.
outside, right? Outside. Outside, right. Inside, left. Outside, right. Inside, left. Okay? So, because I need to shade this part as my region of convergence, okay? If I want this inside, let's say, let me shade it like that. If I want my ROC to be here to include the unit circle, this part should be left-sided. This one should be right-sided. Like one of them will be outside, right-sided, the other one should be left-sided, so that their intersection will include the unit circle. Burası anlaşıldı mı arkadaşlar acaba? So can you tell me what h of n is? Nuri, can you tell me what h of n is for this one?
Soru hocam.
Ne yaptınız? Koptunuz mu arkadaşlar? Nasıl durumlar?
2 over 4 to the power of n un.
Un. How about the other one?
Minus 2
Minus 2.
to the power n un.
Un.
Yeah, un again.
Un. If it is un, it's going to be right-sided. So I should
U minus n minus 1.
un minus n minus 1, right?
Yeah.
But this time, because this is minus, this should be plus, right? If you remember this trick, arkadaşlar, minus a to the power n, u minus n minus 1, it was like 1 over 1 minus a z to the power minus 1, right? If you remember this, that was the trick. So this, if this is minus, this is plus. If this is minus, this should be plus. So now my h of n, if it is a stable system, it should be, this side is right-sided, this side is left-sided. Anlıyor muyuz arkadaşlar? Peki.
Hocam,
So,
what if we have a time shift on the left-sided part?
here, right?
Yeah, 2 times z to the minus 1.
Here, if I have it like this,
Yeah.
it wouldn't affect my pole, right? It only affects my 0.
Again, we add minus 1 then.
Here you mean, right?
Yeah, or h of n.
Yes. Instead of, yes, that's your question. 2, if it is like 2 z to the power minus 1 divided by 1 minus 2 z to the power minus 1, if that's the z transform, and if you want to find out the inverse z transform, okay, this is called inverse z transform, let's say. How do I find it? 2 times 2 to the power n, u minus n minus 1. Now, instead of n's, I'm going to write n minus 1. Instead of this n, I'm going to write n minus 1. Instead of this n, I'm going to write n minus 1. So what is the outcome? 2 times 2 to the power n minus 1 times u of minus n minus 1 minus 1. So
U
this
minus n.
u of n minus, u of minus n plus 1 minus 1. So it will be u of minus n.
Thank you, hocam.
Zaten if you remember, if it is like from minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, if it is shifted once to the right, it should start from here, right? Start from 0, as it is here. Evet arkadaşlar, what did I try to share with you today? I wanted to do some exercises, but there are many different exercises. In the study set, I will put several study questions for you regarding the Z transform and sampling theorem. I hope you're going to do it on your own or with your friends and then solve it. If you have still any questions regarding the Z transform stuff, please let me know and we can go over it next Tuesday. Okay? So I have many questions in my hand. and I can share them with you anytime. Like in this study set, I will share it with you, inshallah. Okay. Any questions at this point, arkadaşlar?